Hello, welcome to Backyard Woodworking. It's been a while since I've done a video. I'm kind of busy with the wife and all, had knee replacement, etc. And it's been one thing after another. Working is another thing, people have to do now and then. I kind of was in my semi-retirement there, but I went back to full-time work again. But I had a little time here on my hands. I figured I'd sneak a video in. Back here you can see a couple of 8-foot pieces of pine. I got a 1x12 and a 1x10 there. Out of that, we're going to make a sitting bench. Some people call them 5-board benches. Call it whatever you want. It's a sitting bench. You can see them all over the place in the South here. And as a matter of fact, my dad made one years ago. Basically the same way, So I'm going to make one that anybody can make. All you need basically is a circular saw, a jigsaw, a ruler, pencil, and a screw gun with, and some sanding equipment. A jigsaw would definitely come in handy if you're going to cut curves and you're going to want a boxy looking bench. I got a little bandsaw back here. I'll use that. But you'll need, a hole saw or a Forstner bit, whatever. I mean, there's a million different ways of doing things all the time, and the best thing to do, as far as I'm concerned, is just use what you got available. So I'm going to cut these boards up into a manageable length, and I got my sled in here that I made some time ago, and I could use my circular saw, but I'm going to whack them up on here. Now here's a 1x10, and I need roughly, this is going to, finish length is going to be about 45. I might change it, I don't know. So I cut these long. This is just a rough cut, so let's cut this up and see what happens. Alright, there's two pieces of 1x12 here. About 18, 19, 18 and a half. I'm going to cut them to finish size. I got a top here. This is going to be the part you sit on. Now, you can finish these any way you want to, so I might do this the so-called rustic way. Alright, now this is going to be the 1x10. Going to rip this down to two 4-inch pieces, approximately 45 inches long. Now you can make yours, you can make a bench any size you want. You can make this thing like, say, 2.5, 3 feet for a single person to sit on. Now I'm making this for the wife. She wants to stick it in the hallway there by a window and put plants on it. So that's what I'm making it for. I've made several of these before, and there's nothing to them really. They're very simple. And to save your scrap, like you got pieces like this left over. This part here is left over. I can cut pieces. You've got scrap around your shop, because I'm going to put some corner blocks in here and glue them in, and I'm going to hit them with a brad nailer, but you can screw them in and glue them, and they'll never come out that way. Put screw in each side and glue it, and then in the middle you drill a pilot hole, and that'll hold your top. You'll see how that goes. That'll hold the legs, the top, the base all together as we progress in this. So for now, next step is going to be designing the legs. Okay, designing the legs. I cut mine, both pieces, dead even here, 18 inches. Bench, the top of the bench is going to be 48, and the sides, I haven't decided exactly yet, but I'll probably make them 45, so I have some overhang on the edges there. Alright. I've made a couple of these before. I give them away to people, you know, presents, whatever. I made this. Simple template. This is what my leg will look like. I just saved it in case I wanted to make another one someday. I've made about 3 or 4 of them so far, so I'm pretty used to doing it. You lay this on here. And this is made for a 1x12 that you buy in your local lumber yard, like Lowe's or Home Depot or whatever you have in your area. Now, you're making your first bench. You don't have a template. What you do? I'm going to use the template, so I'm just going to trace this out to show you. Now, I have this traced out here, and this fits this wood. Now, if your side here is a little different and wood thicknesses vary at the stores, no problem. Nobody will know the difference. Now, leg traced out. Let me move the camera down here. I can get rid of this sled knoll for you so you see better. Alright, now, the template. We got this template here. Now, I made this because I already figured out what I wanted. This is what I want. To show you, basically, what you got to do. Find the center of your board. Normally this wood's around 11 1/4. This one's a little light, about a 1/16 light. Doesn't matter. Half of 11 1/4, 5 5/8. So I'll go 5 5/8 here, and I'll just cheat it a skosh, and that'll be pretty close. That's center. Now, I want to make a leg split like that. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to measure up, say 5 5/8. Right around there. So I got the center line here, and I mark 5 5/8. We have to drill a hole here and sharpen the pencil. So take yourself a hole saw, a Forstner bit. Now, what length to this? I'm looking 1 1/8, 1 1/4, 1 3/8. Somewhere around that size, make a nice hole. So, we'll take this over to the drill press and drill a hole. We made a hole in this. Grab a square here. All right. You want some kind of a leg. All right. So you drill a hole here, and you want to come over. Oh, here, I use this handy little gadget here. Say 3 inches or so for a leg. Well, that don't look bad. 3 1/4. Make a line. You come in the same distance each side, and you can go like that. Now, got my center line here. You come in 3 1/4, 3 1/8. If you got a little bad spot, maybe you come in a little more, maybe a little less, but I wouldn't go less than 3. I'd like to have something a little sturdy on the floor. So we'll take this, and we're going to come in like that. Now, like I said, I have my template, just to show you. This is my template. Now you see what I did. I'm going to come in, I got to get this squared up. But if it ain't square, the best way to do that actually is just layer down and get it moved over. There. Now, see, I got mine set here. So I'm going to make mine here. To match my template, because I'm going to be using my template. But I'm just showing you here. Here's how I lay these out. Now, I want to come in like so. Now, with my template again, I got a point here and a point here where I come into my circle. You see that? So, I'm going to go basically from here to there, like this. Now, the whole idea of this is, the template shows you both sides, but if you do one side at a time, and then you can use that side for your template. So, next step, go to the bandsaw. I'm going to cut this out. by making one side. Now, the top. We're going to move along here. Now, up here, you don't want your legs sitting right on, you have to put a notch or something in here. There's a piece of this. So this is going to be 3/4 of an inch. You know that. And your top's going to be as wide as this, so you want a little overhang. Say you make it 1 1/4 plus 3/4. That gives you 2 inches. So you move this in. Take your handy dandy here. And say 2 inches here. You want to be in 2 inches? Simple. 2 inches. Same on this side. 2 inches. You mark it. You get your 2 inches. Now your skirts, your aprons. "18 inches high. 2 legs. Simple. We're going to have 4-inch aprons, 45 inches long. Got to account for that. We're going to make a leg. Here's what our leg's going to look like. Let's put it that way. That's a finished leg. Template. To start that process, draw 1 1/4 hole. About 5½ inches up. Come in. Three inches. That's 3 1/4. Here. So it's 3 inches there. So make this 3 1/4 too. If that's going to be 3 1/4 on that side, it don't matter. It's up to you. All right. That's not quite what it is. So I'm going to make it what it is here. Match this because it's mine. It doesn't matter. Make yours whatever you like. Make yours 3 1/4. Okay. Here I got it. A line here. What I did is I drilled a hole, bandsawed this out. This is about 5½ inches up, 5 5/8, somewhere in that neighborhood, whatever looks nice to you. Here I'm going to have my leg air. I'm going to come up from here, roughly, to there. We're going to bandsaw that out. That'll give me this big hole in here. This part here, I'm using a template, but I drew this by hand. I just played around with it and then sanded it down till I liked it. But basically, that's what you do. Top of my bench is the same width as this piece here. So this would be the top up here. It looks stupid being that way. You want your bench, the top to overhang the sides a little bit. So, we're using 3/4 inch material here. This is 3/4 of an inch. So I want that to sit plus an overhang. 1 1/4 inch, 1 3/8, 1 inch, what you like. Don't matter. Alright, so I got 3/4 material, my apron's 3/4 thick. So that's about, say here, and that'll be my overhang. Well, that's more like a half, but there you go, put this one here. There's 3/4. Right there. So, this will be overhang. Here, that's good. And that's what I'm doing. My aprons here are going to be 4 inches, so I'll come down 4. from here to there 4 inches, and in I'm going 1 1/4 inches plus 3/4. I am going in 2 inches. So it's 2 inches here and 4 inches this way. Both sides. You want to cut this out and cut this out to that dimension. Then, after you got that cut out, you're going to go from this side here. You have to have something to set your board on. That board's going to set like this. But it's going to be over. Like that. It's going to be in. So that's going to sit there, but you see how this is. I have some meat under it to sit on. Both sides the same. So, what you do, you draw your side in here however you like it. Like here's your leg here, cut out. Down here, you don't want that looking stupid looking, so you just make a little arc. Like this is here, an arc. And then make your leg pleasing. However you like it. I did it this way, that's what I like. You might not like this, but I do. So you draw this in, you cut one side out, like this. Say this is my piece, there's only one side cut out. Then I can lay that piece on top of the other piece, trace it. Flip the piece over, trace it. And do that on both legs. Just flip it and trace it. And that'll give me 2 legs that look like this. And after you have your 2 legs that look like this, you turn to your other piece here, your apron. These are going to be my 2 aprons. Now what have I got here? 1 by 10. That gives me 9 1/4 on the nose. This one's about right. So I need 4-inch pieces. So what I'm going to do is take my saw, my table saw here, and I'm going to run one edge off the board really close, then measure over 4 inches, and that's going to be a piece, and 4 inches here, a piece, and I'm just going to look and see how it lays out in the board. In case I want to move one side in from the other. Going to rip that. I'll set my fence on the table saw at 4 inches and rip them. Simple. So, in other words, we're going to cut out the legs now, so I'm going to show you how I cut them out. Alright, I got a piece here. Well, here's one I traced my pattern out on. Take bandsaw. thing here I didn't do with this piece is drill a hole. I should have drilled that first. But I got these two pieces now, and I can use this to trace onto here. Alright, I'm going to trace these out. And you can see, here's one. I'm going to drill the hole here, which I should have drilled first, but it don't matter. And then back out. Take this and I'll bandsaw out the legs. Alright, here's one half. You have one half a leg. This one out too, and we'll have two of them. But we got it bandsawed up. Here I got two legs. Now, if you look at them, they're a little ratty looking. So here's what I do. Take these, like so, and match them perfect like that. And anything I got that's a big discrepancy, I'm going to get rid of. Let's hook these two pieces together. And we'll go over to the drill press with a drum sander, and I'm going to sand these things so they match. Sand around, sides, and then you got close enough for government work. Alright, that'll take care of that part. We'll sand these up. The next thing, I got my top here and this. Now the top is basically ready to go, but this isn't. I have 45 inches here. Now, I'm going to see what I can get out of what. So, I'm looking for 4-inch pieces. I can get 4 inches here. I get some nice clear wood here. Don't look too bad. By setting a gauge 4 inches, I can see where the knots and all fall. It gives me a good idea. Now there's a bad knot right there. The one here. The little one there, I can put up the top and the back. And we'll see what I get. That's 41, 45 to get me here. If I need a piece, and here, that's a big knot. This one I can live with. 45, it's deep enough in, I think it won't bother me. I think I can live with this too. So, okay, now I don't know whether see all this or not. We have a bench. I cut these to 4 inches a piece. Skimmed the sides off with a blade. Just took like a 1/16 off of each end of the 1x10 that I was using. And these are 4x45 inches. You can see all these edges are rough. We're going to put this edge, these 2 pieces together, the 2 legs. I just put a little clamp on them and hold them, but you can tape them too with double-sided tape. And we're going to run that on the sander and sand these things nice and smooth with some 80 grit. And get them matched. Then here, you see, I got a little space here. We cut that off there. We'll just sand that all down so it all blends in. Now here I want to make a little thing here, because this would look stupid on the end, square. So I'm going to make some sort of a roundy design like this, something round and nice and pleasing up here. And after I cut one out, I'll transfer it to the other ones, and finally to that end over there. Once I cut this side, then I can use that to transfer it, and I'll have 4 ends that match. That'll be my next trick. So that's up next. Get these done. And let me see here, which one's easy? We'll do this one. Now, here we go. We got one side cut. And I think you get the idea. To do this. Perfect. What we're going to do is the same thing on these. What I do first is take one at a time and sand them down. Now what I'm going to do, cut. Alright, after a little sanding here on these edges, top's not sanded at all, I just threw that on there, but give you an idea, that's the bench. Now, what I'm going to do, I'm going to cut up some glue blocks. I'm going to put one in each of these corners. That'll give it a lot of strength when we glue this up. And also, I'm going to put one here, one here, one here, like 3 on each side, one in the middle of each side here. This will attach to the top. And the glue box in the corners here will reinforce these legs so they don't break. And I'll put some glue in there and I'll shoot them in with a couple small brad nails. Now, I can see like here, these are meeting pretty good, but right here, this is a little high. So I'll cut a little bit out of here with a rasp, and we'll see what happens there. Now, if you have any, like, you know, it's rocking, but I don't know, this top isn't exactly straight either, so we'll take care of that later. After just a little bit of sanding on Like if you're rocking here and there, you can say, okay, this one and this one's high. So you just take a little off. But it's just after a little sanding. Now this needs a lot more. Now what else has got to be done now is I got to round over all these edges. I'm going to do that over at the router table, and we'll do that in the next episode. So thank you for watching the Backyard Woodworking show here, as you want to call it that, whatever, my video. And we'll see if we can get some more out. It's just been hectic, and hopefully, shortly, we can get a better camera. This camera I'm using now, really, to put it bluntly, stinks. But that's all I got, so that's what we're using. So, until the next episode comes out, I'm not sure. It might be 2 or 3 more days, might not, might be a week. I'm not sure. It depends on my schedule. But thanks for watching. Bye.